Welcome to Chillin' Ghost Stories, where the scariest tales come to life in the dead of night. Tonight, we venture into the eerie legends of Thailand, a land haunted by vengeful spirits, black magic, and chilling apparitions. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare to face your deepest fears. Let's begin. Chapter 19, Ploy's Redemption.
Ploy smiled, looking at her sister, who was trapped in a cocoon, and said, "Do you still want to resist me?" Nina looked at Ploy with pain and shook her head. "Well, will you follow me?" Nina remained silent for a long while before shouting, "O Naga god! Please help!" Nina's call startled Ploy, who quickly looked around but saw nothing. As Ploy turned back to look at her sister, before she could say anything, there were rumbling sounds like an earthquake. Her body was lifted up. Ploy hurriedly looked down and saw a massive snake mouth, blood-red and wide open, ready to swallow her whole. It's you. Naga. Ploy had seen through all past lives and completely remembered the old enemies from the Battle of the Gods. Naga was Buddha's guardian deity, the one who directly confronted the Asuras. Ploy gritted her teeth, looking at Nina, and said, "You dare seek help from our enemy?" At the moment, Ploy had no time to question Nina further. She quickly flew high up, avoiding Naga's attack. The massive snake body rose dozens of meters from underground but still couldn't catch Ploy. The Naga god crashed down to the ground, causing dust to spread everywhere, then quickly coiled itself up, extending its cobra-like head to look at the enemy. Only now could Ploy clearly see the deity before her. The Naga god was an enormous snake with fierce white eyes. Its back was covered in many layers of horned scales still covered in moss. The head had whiskers and a mane pointing upward. The two nostrils in front were very large, breathing out heavy hissing sounds. Occasionally, it would flick out its purple-black tongue, characteristic of snakes. They stared at each other for a moment before the Naga god lunged up again, opening its mouth to swallow its prey whole. Ploy showed no fear before this massive enemy. She swung her two arms behind her, and two burning spheres shot straight into the snake's mouth. Sizzling sounds like burning fire emerged. The Naga god writhed in pain but kept its mouth shut on those two spheres, using its body's water to extinguish the hellfire. Ploy used her remaining arms to draw her bow and shot arrows continuously at the snake's face and eyes, causing the Naga god to lower its head in pain to dodge. Ploy didn't stop, continuing to join her front arms across her chest, constantly muttering ancient languages. The two spheres in the Naga god's mouth kept spinning, trying to tear apart the enemy's throat. The Naga god shuddered, straightening its head up, mouth wide open to spit out the two spheres. But at that moment, from deep within its throat, 5 other snake heads emerged, one breathing fire, one spewing water, one blowing wind. All aimed at Ploy and shot forth. Ploy was startled, wanting to fly away to dodge but couldn't escape the attack force of all 5 heads. She was thrown back, rolling onto the ground. Nina was also freed from the blood webs binding because of this. But that last strike from the Naga god had frightened Nina herself. Although she was the one who called for the Naga god to awaken, perhaps because she was also a branch of the Asura clan, the deity showed her no mercy. Ploy struggled to stand up, her body emanating black energy streams swirling around her form. Her eyes burned bright blue. Nina stood behind, looking at her in terror. "Ploy. Sister, please stop. Give up that demonic power." "Silence." Ploy hissed, shooting thick black threads that struck Nina, throwing her against the wooden wall and making her roll on the ground. Ploy's voice had become hoarse and unpleasant, almost like hissing through her teeth. She turned to look at the Naga god, her eyes filled with 1,000-year-old hatred. The black threads wrapped around her body, forming an outer armor. The bow in her hand also grew larger. Ploy drew her bow, aimed an arrow with an attached light sphere at the Naga god, and shot. The sphere exploded as soon as it touched the snake's flesh. Waves of extremely strong air burst out, blowing away everything around. Ploy continuously shot volleys of arrows with spears at the snake heads. Dust filled the air, leaving only the blurry silhouette of the writhing Naga god visible. Suddenly, the massive tail swept across, striking Ploy and sending her flying into the sky. One head stretched up to bite and tear at her body. Ploy hung suspended, looking at the head with one injured eye and growling. Her 6 arms simultaneously grabbed onto the snake's head, escaping from the blood-red mouth. The Naga god struggled to shake its head, wanting to throw off the irritating thing on its face. Ploy used 4 hands to hold tight while the other 2 hands stabbed repeatedly into the remaining eye like knives. The Naga god writhed in pain, struggling violently. Ploy's body was repeatedly slammed against the ground and rocks. Soon she had to let go of the snake head. At this point, the Naga god became enraged, its body rising high, taking a deep breath, and simultaneously, all 5 heads spewed fire to burn Ploy. She tried to get up, wanting to fly away. But... bong! Bong! Ploy's entire body trembled, dropping to her knees, all 6 arms clutching her head in pain. A blurry image appeared in her mind, becoming clearer each moment. That figure seemed so familiar. Who was it? Who? Who was waving at her? That person. That woman. That very face. Yes. Mother. It was Mother. Why? Why was Mother here? Mother wasn't dead. Though Ploy was being tormented by thousands of Buddhist sutras trying to drain her body to exhaustion, she paid them no mind. Her eyes were fixed on the source of light, where her mother's figure was smiling and waving to her. All the pent-up emotions came rushing back. She truly missed her mother. She wanted to run after her mother, toward that golden sky. Ploy's entire body was engulfed in the sea of flames from the Naga god. The black threads on her body were burned, quickly melting away to reveal blood-red flesh. But that too was quickly scorched. Ploy writhed in agony. Her body wanted to resist but couldn't escape. Her power was rapidly drained completely. When the bright red flames subsided, burn marks remained all around. Ploy was now just a black, rough mass, lying motionless. Nina struggled to drag her battered body toward Ploy's. Even in the end, you wouldn't give up. Before she finished speaking, the black mass began to stir, cracking. Something seemed to want to break free. Nina recoiled in fear, flying backward. Something red like magma gradually emerged from the crack. Ploy. You're not dead. Nina gasped, unable to believe her eyes. Even the Naga god was completely surprised. The 5 heads once again merged into one large head, opening its blood-red mouth, waiting to swallow whatever was about to appear. Crackling sounds of breaking drew everyone's attention. A bright red face strained to emerge from a membrane. The crack grew larger, the membrane being stretched to its limit. Rip. A fair face appeared, followed by the head, slowly rising up. Ploy. It's you. It really is you. The Naga god, upon seeing this, lunged forward to swallow her whole just as she broke free from the cocoon. Nina startled, using her intestines to wrap around her sister and pull her aside, avoiding the bite. The Naga god angrily looked at Nina in confusion. You dare betray? Nina quickly shook her head, pleading, please calm down. I sense the demonic energy in her is dissipating. Please give her a chance to live. The Naga god breathed out thunderous hisses. The Asura clan cannot exist in the mortal world. But if she kneels before Buddha, she could still. Like me. The Naga god didn't answer, but its eyes remained fixed on Ploy, who was still dazed behind Nina. Sister. The 2 floating heads turned their eyes toward each other. Ploy had become much gentler now. Perhaps this was truly her, after being cleansed by the Naga god's sacred flames. I saw Mother. Mother. Our mother. Yes. Mother. Ploy raised her head, her eyes looking up at the sky where the black clouds were gradually dispersing. Mother has always been watching over us. It's just that, until now, I couldn't sense it. Nina smiled, letting out a long, relieved breath. She remembered what Limey had said when they first met. In the golden lotus petal, there was a person, or rather, just a small part of a soul that had always been there. Perhaps that was their mother, whom Master Diz had kept in there, waiting for the day to help the two sisters turn toward the path of cultivation, escaping their demonic, tormented existence. Ploy smiled, looking at Nina and said, "Everything is over now. I have found my path. The sun is about to appear, you should return to your body." Nina happily obliged, slowly merging back with her body on the ground. Ploy continued to float there, watching her sister. "Quick, sister, get away." Ploy didn't answer, just gently opened her mouth, and a small glittering sphere flew out, heading toward Nina. "This sphere is from hell, from the Asuras. All the captured souls are in here, I'm giving it to you." Nina was confused, not understanding what was happening, but still accepted the sphere. "Sister." Ploy stretched up to fly higher, smiling at her sister one last time. The evening sunlight emerged, illuminating Ploy's entire body, coating her in a shimmering golden color. Ploy's heart seemed to burst with radiance. Her eyes gently closed, ending all the sins she had committed. "No. Ploy. No." Nina wanted to run over, to catch the face of her poor sister, but it was too late. Before her were only ashes flying in the wind, heading toward the setting sun.